Hi guys and welcome to Carflix. This is my 2010 Peugeot RCZ and today I'm going to be doing a mod on this car that I've wanted to do for such a long time. The modification I'm talking about is lowering springs. I've just been on Facebook Marketplace and I've managed to find the best springs you can get for this car, which are the H&R springs. I'm going to travel over to Ipswich. I'm only going to pay £75 for them and then we're going to whack them on this car. So let's get on a little road trip. So I've just bought them. Really nice lady. She lives down this country lane with lots of potholes, so she went back to standard. Let's have a look at these. They're in really good condition. These are the back ones. There's a tiny bit of rust there. I'll probably put a bit of rust protection on there. Same on this side where it's been sat, and the front ones look really good. So let's drive back home and get these fitted. So we've got the car back home. I just want to show you the standard ride height at the minute. So I'd say at the minute, the back, 2 fingers in, roughly about 2.5 centimetres. At the front, a little bit more, I'd say 2.5 fingers, which is probably like 3 centimetres. I'm hoping it's just going to sit just above the tyre line. So let's get this car up in the air. As you know, the RCZ is really tricky to get up in the air. The way I do it, get a jack and jack it off the bottom of the spring here in the cut, because that's got a lot of strength in there. Send her up, then I put axle stands not on the jacking points but on the end of the chassis. Then come to the front of the chassis, jack from about 1/4 in, so you can get the jack stand on the very end. And look, as I've lifted both sides, I've put the axle stands on the chassis legs rather than the bendable cheese-like jacking points, because I've already bent that one just now, which is really annoying. It's just one of those things. Right, next, wheels off.
A few minutes later.
So I think the best thing to do first is get all these bolts covered in penetrating fluid, so they're going to come off a lot easier. And onto the back so we can get to these. I think the other side I'm going to have to take some of this lining out. The next thing we need to do, we need to take the wiper cowling off. This is pretty easy. You pop these caps off here. There's one on each one. It's a 16mm to take your wiper arms off each side, and then there's just a T27, one of those each side. Pull this rubber off, lift it up, and then we'll be able to get to the top mounts just here. These can be really tricky to get off. Normally what you're supposed to do is put a 21mm spanner there, but trying to get hold of a 21mm spanner is a nightmare. So what I've found in the past is if you just put a socket on it and then just get this bad boy, this normally will bring it off. There you go. I'll do the same on the other side. There you go, straight off. The next thing I'm going to do now, we've got some clips here. We just take that off. That's now the drop link there. We're going to need a T27 or a T28. Also, we've got an Allen key here. I think that's a 7mm. We're going to unbolt this as well. And then we're going to unbolt the 2 18 bolts here. And I'm going to have to take the caliper off just to take a bit of weight off this. Take the dust covers off, obviously. That should allow us to start getting this off the hub. So here I'm just removing the drop link, and then after that I'm moving on to removing the 2 T25 bolts in the back of the caliper. After that I'm then loosening off the 18mm bolts, removing those, and then after that I'm putting a bit of rope just on the drive shaft to stop it falling out when I take the strut off. Now we're going to get these out. This one's probably going to be tricky. We'll try it. These are 16s. Now here you can see me removing an 8mm plastic bolt just to try and get to the top of the suspension bolt, but this was being an absolute pain. going to put a little slit just there because I've got aftermarket mud flaps on and I think all the bolts are rusted. So if I make a little incision here, this should give me the access I need with the gun. So if you have that problem, cheat. There we go. Right, that's one side down, so let's go and do the other side. Should drop the whole bar down now. There we go. And that should now mean this should come out quite easily. Now you're probably thinking, why has he done it this way? The reason I've done it this way is because the bolt seize on the bottom of these and I didn't want to take that chance. So now for a bit of speed, I'm going to do this. Prepare for takeoff. Done. The only problem is now, obviously I don't know how this went on. Right, same again. Here we go. Boom, done. Right, so before I put these on, there is a bit of rust here. Obviously these are second hand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to whiz all this off with a wire brush and then I'm going to put a bit of primer on here just to stop it rusting. So this process took a little bit of time, but it's worth spending that time to get the job done just right.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that.
While I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to try and pull this off. That was so easy. Awesome. Let me take that cap off somehow. Easy. Okay, one cap off. Let's do the other side. So I'm just using my body weight. There we go. Straight out. They're not bad to say they've done 135,000. Can't see any rust on this side. I think I did notice a bit of rust on the other side. Yeah, that would have been an MOT advisory. Okay, so let's compare these springs. So there's a bit of rust on the bottom, but let's compare. Jesus. Say a couple of inches there. Well, that's what she said. But yeah, quite a big drop. All right, let's slide it on and see how much I've got to compress them by. That's interesting. I reckon I can literally just put the top mount on and put that back on with the gun. First, I'm going to put this on for the spring seat. That just goes there. Then your top mount goes on. And I reckon if I put a bit of brute strength on this, like I'm doing, oh my god, this is going to thread on, guys. That's seated properly. We're on. And I didn't even need my spring compressors. Right, let's do the other side. So once I've compressed everything with my body weight and hit it with the impact driver, all I'm doing now is securing everything back together in reverse, taking my time to remember where everything went, making sure everything is nice and tight. Then repeating the process on the other side. Front's done, so we're back on the rear. Let's try doing that now. So, I'm guessing the writing is the right way up. We've got to put this cap on, which was facing that way. So you twist these in, look, so that those tabs are like that. So there's like a plastic seating thing here, so it's just a round plastic stopper. So I'm going to just slide it in there. How easy was that? Super easy. Right, let's go and do the other side before we start bolting these up. That's bottom, that's top, because obviously they're writing. Then we've got to slide this in. Perfect. Didn't even... Right, okay, I'm going to start putting the bolts in at this side, and we should be getting close to being done now. Going to be time to start dropping her down. I'm not going to put this cowling on just yet, so I want to make sure those top nuts are tight when she's on the ground. I've got a feeling this is going to be super low and it's going to look super cool. Let's get her dropped down. She's on the ground. That looks perfect. Probably about one finger on the back wheel arch and probably about half a finger on the front. Oh my god, it looks so much better at the front. Whew. Now I'm liking that a lot. I'm going to take her for a quick test drive to let her bed in, and then we'll see what the handling's like and we'll see what she settles at. First impressions, I really can't tell the difference on the comfort side of things. This road isn't the smoothest and she's riding the bumps really well. I'm going to have some bigger bumps now. There's some bumps here, look. It's like a little bit more of a punch when you go over them, but it's still firm but not uncomfortable. I'm liking it so far. I cannot fault it at all. Right, I'm going to try and find some corners now. Okay, so I'm doing 60 miles an hour. There's a corner coming up, which is quite a tight corner. God, this is so much better. There's no body roll at all. I'm going to go down some back lane driving now. This is a single track lane doing 50 miles an hour. It's bumpy, but it's really holding the road really well. I am super impressed with these guys. Look at these bumps I'm riding over. It's just absorbing them. It's perfect. You really do pay for what you get. Well, I am super impressed with these springs. Look at the ride height now. It is just perfect. The tyres just fill the arches just right. It's about a finger at the front, about a finger and a half at the back. It just looks awesome. Now, as you can see, I'm absolutely covered in crap because it is a bit of a dirty job. But on reflection, it is probably the best decision I've ever made. My advice is, if you can't afford coilovers, just go for the top end of the lowering springs. You really do pay for what you get. I'd give the H&R springs 10 out of 10, and they're going to last longer than coilovers because, let's face it, manufacturer coilovers, I'm on 135,000 now and still going strong. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you out in any way, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.